Liverpool are going through one of their most turbulent spells under manager Arne Slot, a man who arrived with the promise of reigniting the attacking and tactical spark that once thrilled supporters during previous eras. Yet what has unfolded over the past 7 days has been less a dazzling footballing spectacle and more a whirlwind of frustration, missteps, and questions that echo far beyond the four corners of Stamford Bridge. The 2-1 defeat to Chelsea, sealed in stoppage time by a dramatic goal from the young Esteban Villan, was not just another setback. It marked a third consecutive loss in a week that, by the club's lofty standards, borders on unacceptable. And it was precisely this avalanche of poor performances that prompted one of English football's most outspoken voices, Gary Neville, to point directly and without mincing his words at what he sees as Liverpool's true Achilles heel. It was not the leaky defence, nor the growing list of injuries, but rather the complete attacking impotence in the decisive minutes that ultimately sealed Slot's fate at Stamford Bridge. Neville, a Manchester United legend and now a hard-hitting pundit on Sky Sports, did not hold back as he dissected what he called an absolutely useless display from Liverpool's forwards during the final 15 to 20 minutes of the clash against Chelsea. And let's be honest, when someone like Neville, who knows the pressure, politics and demands of elite football better than most, chooses words that sharp, it means something genuinely worrying is happening on the pitch. Cody Gakpo's equaliser on 63 minutes, which cancelled out Moises Caicedo's fine opener, seemed like the spark Liverpool needed to take control of the game, but instead what followed was a series of misplaced passes, lethargic decisions, wasted chances, and an apparent disconnect among the team's key attacking figures. For Neville, this was the true cause of the defeat, not the much-discussed defensive errors, but the almost inexplicable inability of a squad brimming with talent to turn opportunities into goals when it mattered most. And that wasn't all. The former United right-back went even further, directly targeting Mohamed Salah, one of the biggest stars in world football and the defining symbol of this Liverpool generation. According to Neville, the Egyptian showed a glaring lack of clarity and composure in crucial moments, squandering chances that in years past he would have buried with ease. But the most surprising and arguably most controversial target of his criticism was Florian Wirtz, the club's £116 million marquee summer signing. The German prodigy, brought in to become Liverpool's new creative heartbeat, was described as Neville as immature in his understanding of how to play the game, with performances that were predictable and disappointing. The remark carried even more weight, given that Wirtz came on in the second half precisely to change the course of the match, replacing the hard-working Conor Bradley. Instead, the young German looked lost, unable to connect with Alexander Isak or impose his style in a moment when Liverpool desperately needed creativity, boldness, and tactical intelligence. But what exactly is going wrong with this Liverpool side? Could the problems run deeper than the pitch? The truth is that even with the injuries plaguing the squad, such as the prolonged absence of goalkeeper Alisson Becker, sidelined for 6 weeks with a tendon injury, and Giovanni Leone's recent surgery after suffering an anterior cruciate ligament rupture, this is still a team packed with quality and match winners. Yet something feels missing. Perhaps it's the chemistry still taking shape under Arne Slot's new tactical system. Though he arrived with a solid reputation from the Eredivisie, he is still learning to adapt his philosophy to the relentless rhythm of the Premier League. Or perhaps it's the pressure of carrying the legacy of a club that in recent years grew accustomed to fighting for titles until the last day. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. Liverpool currently look like a team caught between what they once were and what they want to become, and this transition, however necessary, is proving costly in terms of results.
We also cannot ignore the wider context of this disastrous week. Even before facing Chelsea, the Reds had been stunned by Crystal Palace in a match that seemed under control until the dying minutes, when a stoppage-time goal flipped the scoreline and left Anfield in disbelief. Then came the breaking point. A 1-0 defeat to Galatasaray in the Champions League, a result that, aside from being unexpected, exposed tactical and psychological frailties few imagined existed within such an experienced squad. 3 defeats in 7 days are more than just numbers. They are flashing red warning signs, demanding quick, brave and effective responses. And it is in this context that Gary Neville's words hit even harder. He is not criticising for the sake of it, but pointing to a dangerous gap between the players' individual potential and their collective ability to deliver when it matters most. Curiously though, amid this storm of criticism, there remains a sliver of hope. Neville, despite his severity, admitted that Liverpool will sort it out, and that confidence is not unfounded. After all, this is a club with one of the most stable structures in world football. A cutting-edge performance analysis department, a devoted fan base that never walks away, and, above all, a group of players who have repeatedly shown the resilience to bounce back after setbacks. The challenge now is to accelerate that adaptation process, especially with Wirtz, who must evolve quickly to justify his record-breaking price tag, and, more importantly, become the creative link the team so clearly lacks. Likewise, the fullbacks, traditionally key pieces in Liverpool's attacking structure, must once again become the constant threats they were in previous seasons. Without that width and overlapping energy, the attack becomes congested, predictable and, as Neville aptly put it, absolutely useless when it matters most. What makes all this even more intriguing is that Arne Slot is only at the very beginning of his Liverpool tenure. He did not inherit a rebuilding project, he inherited a champion side, one still harbouring ambitions of staying at the summit of European football. In such a context, every error is magnified, every defeat scrutinised under a microscope, and every player placed under almost unbearable pressure. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that great managers prove their worth. Does Slot have what it takes to fine-tune the gears, calm the nerves, and restore Liverpool's trademark identity, that relentless, collective and attacking force that made them feared across the continent? Or will this transition period demand more time which in such a ruthless and congested calendar may be a luxury the club cannot afford? As those questions linger, one thing remains certain. Football, as always, does not forgive mediocrity, and what we've seen from Liverpool in recent matches has walked dangerously close to that fine line between the acceptable and the unacceptable. Gary Neville, with his trademark candour, merely put into words what many supporters already felt deep down, that despite all the individual brilliance, something vital is missing from the team's collective soul. Perhaps it's confidence, perhaps communication, perhaps simply time. Time for Slot's ideas to take full shape. But the clock doesn't stop, and the Premier League, with its relentless competitiveness, waits for no one. The question now is whether Liverpool can find their way back to greatness before it's too late, or whether this turbulent period will mark the beginning of a new era of uncertainty for one of the world's most storied footballing giants.